Welcome to another episode of It Had to Be Said podcast, where we say out loud what you think in private. No topic is off limits. In today's podcast, we are going to be talking about it's not what you say, it's how you say it. A lot of times, people get so caught up on how you're saying something to them, regardless of how important or vital the message may be, not only to their health, to their future, or to their well being. And I think that is where we have this big disconnect where sometimes, especially when it's somebody that cares about us, a loved one, and they're trying to help us through a situation or they're trying to get us out of a situation and they're frustrated because it may not be the first time. And so their tone of voice may be a little bit harsh. They may yell, they may use some profanity. And sometimes the person who's receiving that message, because it's not being received in a way that they want it to be put out there, like, with kid gloves and all sweet, nice voices and with a smile, that they get very defensive and they shut down. And I think this audio that I'm about to play is a prime example of that. I want you guys to listen to this listener that called into the radio station to discuss irresponsible fathers, child support, and you'll see where the radio host is extremely obnoxious, very direct, very blunt, but the messaging is something that we all should be teaching our daughters or teaching young people. I'm going to go ahead and play the audio and then I'll get back and we'll discuss that.
Why don't you ever talk about the men that don't pay child support?
Because it's women like you who spread your legs for guys like that. Why don't you ever talk about the responsibility of women who choose irresponsible males to procreate with and then complain later when they're irresponsible?
No.
The women who have a one-nighter with a bartender or a guy on a motorcycle or a musician, and then you complain later on the guy's a deadbeat. He was a deadbeat to begin with.
Why nobody can ever talk to you because you don't let any...
People talk to me all day long. You can't talk to me.
No, I'm trying to talk to you and you're talking over...
Dear, don't tell me how to do a radio show. I've been doing this for 25 years. I don't need your help.
Oh, okay. Let me. Can I please just say this? I was married once before, okay?
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I had a child together.
Right.
After I was tired of him beating me for 2 years, I left him.
Really? But why did you tolerate it for 2 years? Can you tell me why you tolerated being beaten for 2 years? I'd like to hear about this.
My answer to that is because I was young and stupid.
Okay, I agree with you.
There you go.
You were stupid. No doubt about it. And now what are you going to complain that he doesn't pay child support? A guy who beat you for 2 years? Imagine that. The guy is irresponsible.
Right.
He beat me for 2 years, and now that deadbeat doesn't pay.
So why is it my...
There's your big concern. Now we see why you're so upset about this. You chose a manifestly irresponsible, violent individual to procreate with. Then you're amazed that the guy doesn't send you child support.
He didn't beat me until
you're still, you know what, dear? You were young and stupid. Now you're old and stupid. I mean, you're still stupid.
Oh, my God.
You are still stupid. You expect a guy who beat you for 2 years now to suddenly become responsible.
I cannot even believe...
You're insane.
It is unbelievable.
You can't believe what?
I can't believe that you're still on the radio.
I'm on the radio because I'm right, and I'm on the radio because I've got millions of listeners. That's why.
All right. Yes, I know the radio guy, he seems extremely obnoxious and he seems extremely rude. But let's break down that conversation, right? So the first thing the woman was talking about was, why is the radio host not talking about the men who don't want to pay child support? And the radio host response was basically, well, we should be talking about the women that lay down with these guys who are deadbeats, and then they act surprised or they get upset when the guys don't want to be responsible fathers. They don't want to be involved or they don't want to pay child support. And it's a valid point because I've said this before in my previous podcast. Women choose who they sleep with. Men choose who they marry. And that's the reality of things. So if a woman meets a guy, regardless of how much of a mask or a front the guy may put on in order to get into that woman's pants, there are signs that this guy is irresponsible. Whether you look at how he spends his money, whether you look at his job, whether you look at his expectations, how he talks, who he hangs around with, what he does with his free time, there are typically signs that this person is an irresponsible person. A good example of that is the T app. when this app came out and it was meant to help women expose men that are deadbeat fathers or cheaters or serial daters, it was so funny because when it first came out, women would go on there and they would see multiple women in one area posting about the same guy. And it was to the point where women started to realize, and men started to realize, at least good men started to realize, most of the women are going after the same type of guys, which are these deadbeat low-life guys. And some of these women were well educated. They carried themselves well, but it was just kind of like they were just going after a particular type of guy who already had multiple kids. The guys, you look at the social media, it's not like these guys were business owners and dressed properly. These guys, just looking at their Instagram or their social media profile, you could tell that these guys were just not great guys, not good guys, or guys you should be having kids with. And so I think that there are always signs there. It's just that, as a woman, you need to be willing, ready, and wanting to see the signs. Sometimes, we want something so bad that we kind of, we tunnel vision ourselves. And so we don't pay attention to that. And then the next thing in the phone call with the radio host was where she mentioned she was with her husband for 2 years and then she ended up having to leave him after all of the beatings. And the radio host bluntly said, "Why did you stay for 2 years?" And it's another valid point because me as a father, I've actually, explained to my daughter that no man should ever put his hands on you, you know, and that's important because if you allow a man to hit you once, he's going to do it again. It's like a child. If you ever notice you tell your child, no, don't do something, when they do it again, they're going to look at you to see how you respond. If you don't say anything, then they're going to continue and they're going to do exactly what you told them not to do before. So it's just like that with a man who's abusive. If he gets away with it the first time, it's going to happen again because he's going to know that you're not going to do anything. So the first time a man lays his hands on you, you just need to leave because obviously he was not raised properly. In this time and age with social media and everything else like that, even if this person's parents did not tell them not to hit a woman, there's enough places where they would have seen that or they would have come across that saying of you never lay your hands on a woman. So there are, like I said, there are always signs there. And going back to the original topic of this podcast, which is, don't worry about how somebody delivers the message. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to the words, because a lot of times our loved ones, they get so fed up with us trying to help us and bail us out. And sometimes they may get frustrated with you and they may not use the nice, sweet tone with you. They may be aggressive. They may raise their voice. They may use a little profanity. But it's important that you try to always remember, does this person care about me? Does this person love me? Is this person looking out for my best interests? Yes. So I am not going to think that they're yelling at me or using profanity at me because they hate me. Whatever they're saying is coming from a place of love. Listen to the message, and then you go from there. That's all I'm going to say in today's podcast. Once again, my name is Ali Telford. This is my podcast. It Had to Be Said podcast. We post new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. If there's a particular topic, video, or something like that you would like for me to talk about in my podcast, you can message me directly on Instagram. You can just type in Ali Telford or It Had to Be Said podcast, and I will pop up right there. You can go ahead and DM me. Good night.
Whether you're solving murders during breakfast, cracking cold cases on your commute, or playing amateur detective at bedtime, Amazon Music's got millions of podcast episodes waiting. Just download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite true crime podcasts ad-free, included with Prime.